Welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Today is our confidence in Him. Do you trust God? Do you fully trust that He's going to take care of you? Do you fully trust that He is with you no matter what? Do you trust Him? Today we're in Daniel chapter 3, and we're looking at the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All three of these men were pretty special. They refused to bow down to the idol, the king's idol. They were only going to worship the one true God. And we are in verses 14 through 18. And it says, Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my God, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all the kinds of music, ye shall fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So they refuse. They refuse to worship this golden idol. They are only going to worship the one true God. They didn't care that it was ordered by the king to worship this golden idol. They weren't doing it. And they weren't giving up on God. The king was furious. He was furious that they wouldn't worship this idol that he had set up. But they tell the king, our God in whom we serve is able to deliver us. God is able. They knew that God was able to save them, and they said, and if not, we will still not serve your God. You know, our God can deliver us, and we will not bow down. They were very firm. They had full confidence in God and they fully trusted Him that He was going to see them through this. They were not wavering in their faith. They completely trusted that God would either bring them through it or they would go to be with Him. Either way, they were not giving up. They were not going to bow down to another God. They just weren't going to do it. They knew that God was in complete control of this situation and of what was going to happen. You know, they're going into this situation not knowing the exact outcome. They don't know if God is going to, sweep them up out of there. They don't know if they're going to be burned. They don't have any idea what the outcome is going to be or how this is going to play out. But they stand firm anyway. They fully trust anyway. They will not give up on God. And no matter what's going to happen to them, they remain faithful. They would rather risk their lives than to bow down to another God. Then when we go to verses 20 through 28, it says, And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and were cast in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace was exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake, and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth, and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth out of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair on their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God. There was another in the fire. These 3 men were thrown into the fire, but now there's 4. God was with them the whole time. God brought them through this, unsinged. Not a hair was singed on their head. Their garments were still the way they were before they went in. They didn't even smell like smoke. But yet the men that threw them in there died because that furnace was so hot. But nothing happened to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. God brought them through the fire. He was with them. He brought them through it. God will bring us through the fire. He will bring us through our most difficult struggles, our most difficult battles. We, just like these men, we need to have that complete trust in God that He's going to bring us through it. But even if He don't, He's still with us. He's still with us in the fire. We're not alone in it. We can learn a lot from these young men. We can stand firm in our faith because God's got our back no matter what. We can just stand firm, hold on to Jesus, and have complete confidence in Him that He's going to carry us through the fire no matter what. Just trust Him. Have your confidence in Him. Not of anything that we can do ourselves, not in someone else, only in Him. That's where our confidence should be. That no matter what, He's with us through the fire, and He will get us through it, whether we make it through it or we go to be with Him. Confidence in Him. That's where our confidence should lie. So I hope that you have a great rest of the week, and until next time, I'll see you later. Thanks, guys.